Yo, this is another episode of the Steven from the Old Time Podcast. Listen to my dad, he's awesome.
I love it. The boys are all back. It feels great to do the last two episodes. Trap is here, Derek is here, Malenko was here, I'm here.
You're always here.
Yeah, we're always here, but it feels good to have everybody back. On that note, welcome to a new episode of Steven from the All Time Podcast. I am your host, the Ayatollah of all this shit, the whole damn show of this shit, and the Rated R podcaster. With my co-host this evening.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everyone? You recognize the voice as the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. Formerly Derek All Time, still is kind of Derek All Time, but you're not going to call me the Big Cheese, and I don't care because that's what it is.
The Big Cheese. And you already know it's been a long time coming. I'm back. It's your favorite co-host, one half for the podcast tag team champions of the world. I mean, the universe, actually, if you want to get technical with it. The leader and ruler of the podcast universe, the Black Eric Bischoff. You already know it's your boy Trap All Time, a.k.a. the V-Neck Lord, a.k.a. Trap Loren. And we here for another episode.
You know what's funny? I really hope everybody continued after that intro of all of us that took about 5 minutes. But boys, we're back. Music has been amazing. Music has been heavy. The last couple of weeks really has been album after album after album after album after album. We got a great
It's been a good year for rap.
Yeah.
It's been a good rap year, especially towards like the end, going towards the fall. I feel like we've been getting a lot of good albums.
Yeah, the summer was a bit quiet towards August.
Yeah, right.
And now it's flooding. Like that weather with the hoodie. That's like hoodie weather music. It's here. And what great way to start off hoodie weather. And it's that Mobb Deep Infinite album. Now,
rest in peace to Prodigy, man.
Absolutely, 110%. Look, we're not going to review it, but it made noise since it came out on the Friday.
I enjoyed it.
I just want to know your thoughts. Derek, I know you didn't get a chance to check it out because I'm stoning you to death with a bunch of other albums to listen to. But Trap, like, what's your first thoughts on the Mobb Deep? Now, and the reason why I'm saying first thoughts is because this is their first album, full-length album since like 2005.
And it's after Prodigy passed away. So, you know, at first I had my mixed reviews, but once I heard the singles, I was like, all right, the singles are good. Then once I heard the album, I was like, yeah, this is a Mobb Deep album. I just love Havoc's production. And this album had both Havoc and Alchemist. And, you know, those two go hand in hand, Mobb Deep and Alchemist. So hearing Prodigy's voice, it felt really good because I miss Prodigy, man, one of my favorite MCs. But I just thought overall the album was good. It didn't sound like they were trying to catch up with the sound as today. Like they stuck to what they do, and that's make that Mobb Deep sound. And I thought it was just an overall great album, man. The lyrics weren't too outdated from Prodigy, so I thought that was pretty good. Like again, I said, just hearing him on the Havoc production and Alchemist beats was just music to my ears. So I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, I'm happy you enjoyed it because people are saying it's incredible.
Again, it's an incredible Mobb Deep album.
People don't give a chance for albums to live in the atmosphere. They just right away listen to it once and then give their full opinion. I had a good opportunity, like yourself, Trap, to sit with it for a good couple of days. And look, to me, it's tough. Because being a Prodigy fan, growing up listening to Prodigy being one of my favorite MCs of all time, I took his passing bad. I think it's probably growing up, people passing away was just like, yeah, you know what, it sucks, we lost them. But Prodigy, to me, when he passed away, was something very deeply that I like to my heart because I was a fan with him. I grew up listening to him, and he was legitimately one of my favorite MCs. And when he passed, I was super, I'm going to say the word sad, because I never thought we would hear music from him again. And
Right.
a couple of years ago, they put out some solo project. What's that word? Posthumous? What's when someone passes away? What's that? I can't pronounce the word properly. Posthumous?
Posthumously.
Yes.
Posthumously? Yeah. Usually when people put out albums like that, the albums are too worked on. There's too much, you know,
Hmm.
stuff that went into making the project that the actual artist was that was making the verses or making the record didn't get a chance to completely finish it or have his finishing touches or actually have anything to do with it. So I
Right.
usually take that as, you know what, it's not authentic. The word
Right.
authentic and work,
But this felt authentic.
it felt authentic because I think they really utilized Prodigy's voice correctly. Now
And they use his verses too. Those are real verses, that unreleased verses.
yeah, absolutely. And I think they did a good job in that aspect. Now, his project
Hmm.
before this, his solo project, I listened to it once and I never listened to it again because it
Yeah,
really
yeah,
broke
yeah,
my
yeah.
heart on how bad it sounded. Now,
I understand.
they did a really good job with his vocals on this
Right.
project. They put the vocals at the right place. Look, the album is full of Prodigy, like whether it's the verses, whether it's the hooks, whether it's just
Hmm.
like the ad-libbing, whether it's just like the talking throughout the songs.
Right.
And they did a great job. Now the beats to me are
I
kind of
love
out.
them.
You love them. I think they're outdated
I
for.
don't think they're outdated. I felt like it's not that what it is they didn't try to chase the sound of today. They kept it to what, but it didn't sound outdated though, if you know what I mean. It sounds like a 90s Mobb Deep album, but it sounds like you could play it today, if that makes sense.
You could play it today and it rings well. I just found like the beats kind of like, for us that have been listening to a lot of hip hop, kind of like, I don't want to say it doesn't fit, but it's kind of like, this is what Mobb Deep sounds like. If this album would
Hmm.
have came in 2006, 2007, it would have rang heavy across the board. That's what I meant in the outdated
Hmm.
sound.
Hmm.
Now, maybe the beats were made in that era, so that's why it fits so good with when the verses were done.
Nah, those
But
beats are today. Alchemist and Havoc. I
yeah,
loved it.
so that's what I'm getting from what when the production was done. Look, I enjoy the album. I'm enjoying the album. I think it's growing on me consistently every time I listen to it. Now, I'm not gonna go say this is album of the year or this is a classic Mobb Deep album. It's an enjoyable Mobb Deep album,
No,
and
it's a good album.
it feels really good
I
to
gotta
hear
listen to it
Prodigy.
more. Yeah.
Now, the things that I don't like about it is I don't like Havoc on here.
What you mean,
He's good
rapping or production?
rapping. I find
Okay.
this is some
I
of
can.
Havoc's weakest rapping.
Hmm.
Okay.
I can understand
Uh
that.
I just find it, look, P outshines him. P
Of
outshines anybody
course,
that's on a song with him. But I
but
just find Havoc is not at his
that's
best.
Mobb Deep.
I just find Havoc
Hmm.
not as his best, and his rapping is not great. Like, and
Okay.
Havoc used to be amazing. Like America's
Yes.
Nightmare and Infamy, those two albums,
Yeah.
Havoc sometimes outshined P on those
Of
songs,
course.
and it was rapping really well. And I find now I don't know, I just find it very, I
Hmm.
don't want to say lazy, but I just find it just doesn't fit. It's not as strong and has Havoc I would want him to sound on here.
Okay.
Look, there's the good songs on here. There's the songs I think shouldn't
Yeah,
be on
some of the
here.
hooks I don't like. Like I don't like that MOBB hook or whatever
Love
it's
that
called.
song, by the way.
I love the
I
song. I
love
just
that
don't like
song.
the hook. I just don't like the hook.
The hook
That's
the hook
about
was
it.
a bit the hook was a bit, you know, it's very 2006. But to end it off, just to say, is like, it is what it is with the project. I don't need Nas on 3 songs.
I
Okay.
love it. I
And
love when Nas and Prodigy on the song together.
I didn't need it to
They
be
mesh well.
I didn't need it to be 52 minutes. That's just me.
Okay. Nah,
Now,
I feel you.
look, I'm happy we got a Mobb Deep project. I'm happy we got some good Prodigy verses. And you know what? It is gonna be what it is, and some really good songs that really stand out on there. So I'd like
Right.
to see where this is gonna be in the next couple of months and how it's gonna sound for me in the next couple of months.
What's your album? What's your rap album of the year so far?
So far, it's the Vega 7 album and the Pro Dillinger album.
Ooh, which Vegas 7?
The Vega 7 and Machacha, the Ghost
Oh, okay.
Orchid,
The Ghost
and
Orchard. Okay.
Pro Dillinger and
Pro
Future Wave
Dungeon
Dirt Wave 3.
third three. Oh,
So, boys,
see.
we're here for a reason. We got 2 reviews to do this evening. two heavyweights in 2025, two heavyweight champions in 2025, really holding it down with the consistency in the music that is coming out, the consistency in the albums that are coming out. And those two projects, we're going to really spend our time with them, and we're going to go through these albums because I think they're two important albums that just dropped. And the first project of the evening is going to be Action Figure and Machacha, the most interesting man in the world. First of all, the song title for that, the album title for that is just incredible. And it really goes to show for me, for Action Figure, he really is the most interesting man right now in hip hop.
He is, though.
He's been putting out amazing projects all year. Just the title holds so much weight. You're smiling, Derek. You want to add something for sure about the title? Please go. But the title holds so much weight. Also with the album cover, completely done by Craig Dyer, who has been on a fantastic run of album covers. I'm going to repeat that again. Done the album cover from Action Figure and Machacha, the most interesting man in the world, done by Craig Dyer, who is amazing. And his art and the way that he paints and puts his album covers together speak millions of words. And it really got me interested on, okay, you got Action Figure on the cover with so many luchador masks. The title is the most interesting man in the world.
That's why you got your Grande Americano mask on the mic tonight?
No, that's a Rey Mysterio mask that my son had that I stole from his room. But the album title, man, look, we could sit here and really talk about the album title. Action Figure is the most interesting man in the world right now.
It makes sense that he had that album title and the intro. It makes sense.
Exactly. The intro spoke words. It basically made us feel there's a legend behind who Action Figure is and his music. So let's get into each track. Let's get into the highlight tracks. The intro, like we said, speaks a million words. It's basically just kind of putting together who this man is and what this man is about to give us in his music. Two ships passing at night, slow beat, with like keys, shows off this master art and his rapping ability with heavy punchlines.
I like how you started the album off with that second track.
Yeah. Here Comes the Money is more of a boom bappy scratches, hopefully done by Finland Empire. It gives you a different feel of what Action Figure usually gives to us. Here Comes the Money, shout outs to Shane McMahon. And because I
told you I met Shane McMahon.
Yeah, you did actually. I don't think you told Derek though.
Oh yeah, I ran into Shane McMahon at my job. I'm outside smoking, and then he's walking out. He's walking down the block. I'm like, Shane McMahon, and then I'm like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "What's up?" And then he walked about his business. I don't think anybody knew who he was. And I'm outside mad.
Like, if I were to see Shane McMahon, I wouldn't even think Shane McMahon. I was just like, "Here comes the money." Like that's all that comes to mind. There's absolutely nothing else. Like coast to coast, just you like it. How sometimes you just don't know who you meet in the street, but then whenever you see Shane McMahon, you're like, how much of an absolute monster and an absolute savage that guy is. And some people just don't look like that unless that's one of those dudes. Right. It's you're walking around with someone and you're just like, hey, that's Shane McMahon. They're like, who's Shane McMahon? And then you show them highlights. They're like, really? That guy? Yep. And you're like, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yep.
And you know what, to your point, Derek, that you say that, I think Shane McMahon and how impactful he is in wrestling and just who Shane McMahon is and the song, Here Comes the Money, I think Action Figure and Machacha really put the right title name to that song because it has that entrance theme kind of song to it. Yeah, and it has that like boom bappy feel to it. And a line that really stood out to me on here was, "I rap about wrestling like these other rappers rap about
Wow,
Scarface."
Scarface. Yeah,
And
yeah, that was one of my favorite bars.
90s was always rapping about Scarface or
Mhm.
Scarface esque. Even the
Mhm.
2000s till now, and the time that we are now, a lot of guys referencing wrestling,
Mhm.
and it holds that weight like Scarface held that weight in the 90s and the 2000s. So many people now are using hip hop and wrestling bars all in one. And you know what? Do all of them sound good when they do it? Absolutely not. But Action Figure is one that it makes sense. It sticks out in his music. So that
Yeah.
bar really made sense.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, to the Twin Towers song on here with Andre DeSaint, another standout song. You know, the heavy drums. I
Very
think both,
bar heavy.
yeah, and both of them on here sound
Hmm.
amazing on Twin Towers. I think drums in their life make sense. Besides having the drumless, the drums for them really brings out their tone in their voice, and I think it fits super perfectly on this song. Machacha did it perfectly. He really put those drums in at the right time, at the right place, and they were both able to really elevate their voice on here. And shouts out to Akeem and the Big Boss Man who were in the Twin Towers and fought against the Mega Powers. Non-title match, another standout on here. If nobody knows what that intro to non-title match, that's Taz versus
Yeah.
Triple H in 2000 on SmackDown. Okay, and basically Taz wanting to really take Triple H's spot because Triple H in 2000 was probably the man and the guy to beat. And ECW champion Taz, who was way smaller than him, confronted Triple H in the ring and wanted to fight him. It was a non-title match. Triple H ended up winning, pedigreeing Taz, and Triple H ended up winning the match. But non-title match, I think this is Action really taking a stance on him being one of the best of the year, and nobody coming to take his spot. He could either be Triple H on here, or he could literally be Taz coming to take people's spots as the best MC of the year. So that song really fit.
See that.
Uh,
I can see that. I like that.
yeah. Then we got Toys R Us, which is another standout on here.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I ain't gonna fight that stuck with me because I am a Toys R Us kid.
It's super catchy.
It is.
What did you think, Derek?
I think it was just catchy. I think there's a lot of references to, and you mentioned the wrestling before, how a lot of rappers are doing the whole wrestling bars and stuff. And I think it's just goes to, it's a generational thing, like they were probably watching wrestling when they were kids, just like we did, and now that they're older, they're just rapping about their childhood and their memories. The Toys R Us, the wrestling, and all that kind of jazz. Like you don't know that song unless you were a kid in that era of time and
Right.
heard that song on TV. There's no other way for you to know. It's
Hmm.
you might have heard about it or like have a vague like memory of it, but those jingles, it's kind of like oh spaghetti-o. It's it's those things of like you had to have been a child in those times. And I think the good thing that of what Action Figure does is that he really hits the nostalgia factor for guys that are our age, and it makes it interesting because it's references that we understand. And I think this whole album is very reference heavy. Just the most interesting man in the world. When we were teenagers, it was a Dos
Hmm.
Equis commercial. It
Hmm.
was a beer commercial, and we remember going to school and be like, "You're the most interesting man in the world." Like
Lord.
it was one of those things. No other beer commercial had something like that, and yeah. I think that reference game that he's got going on, he's finding crafty ways about it, to make a whole hook the Toys R Us song on a hip hop album come on, man, you're just playing at this point. At this point, he's just leveling up characters, and we're just watching him do it. No, I like it, dude. I yeah, it's in the top 3, top 4 songs on that album for sure.
I love Machacha's beat making on this song. It kind of elevates he brings like a symphony type of beat with drums on here, and what Action was able to do with having a hook as catchy as that with that type of beat was amazing. And that's Machacha at his best, man. Machacha is always able to craft these type of beats for artists. Like I've said many times on the show, Machacha is able to tap into the world of that artist that he's producing for, and really either elevating them or really crafting a sound for them to really shine on. And that's what Action does throughout this whole project. Like, I'm just gonna go back real quick to like non-title match. In non-title match, that beat, that it's super eerie. I feels like he took that sample from America's Most Wanted TV show for how scary and eerie it is. You know what I mean? And like, you don't really hear him do that for other people. He did it for Action because he probably knew that Action was able to really elevate himself on that type of beat and do something very differently than what he's used to do. But yeah, Toys R Us, man, that symphony beat and the drums that he used really made Action stand out. You know, references, I'm Braun Breaker spraying you from the blind side. You know, that's what fucking makes me excited about listening to an Action Figure record. One of Action Figure's best verses of all the music he comes out with is on the second part of this song. It's his second verse on this song. It really makes him stand out. He flows super well on it. He references so many great things on here. You know, he's clear as day. He's coming for the title. He is a title holder. He's either coming for the title or he is a title holder, or he's going for a second title. He sounds hungry on the second verse. And there's something that really stood out to me, and I wrote it down. You can't find me in the boiler room next to mankind. Open notebook, letting my thoughts unwind, manifesting one side mission at a time. To me, I thought that was brilliant. He's already thinking about what's next while he's already mastering what he's doing right now. Next track, Omar's Cafe. Another eerie type of beat, like it's straight from a horror movie. You know, him and Shamir, hopefully I pronounce it correctly, but him and Shamir doing great things on here. A bit more laid back, the track. You know, and then Meadowlands Horse Races with Heartbreak Julio and Jalen Frazier. Fucking great song.
Yeah.
Jalen Frazier starts off the song. Incredible artist. Fucking spitter. He's great, you know.
And it's on a spooky kind of beat too, like a spooky late night horror movie-ish kind of beat. I think that track really stands out just from the combination of the production on it and the bars on it. I think everyone came correct on this. Yeah, and that one, just the production and the beat on there is just super catchy. Like, it really like piques your interest because it just sounds just different enough from the rest of the album that it makes you just like perk your ears up. I think that was really, really good.
Yeah. And Heartbreak Julio. I've heard Heartbreak Julio before, but this is really the first time I really pay attention to him. And he finished off the track super well. He had that grimier, more gritty, more, you know, like almost screaming, but not really screaming because you could still hear him type of thing. And I think he really ended off the track super well. And there's such balance in here. Jalen Frazier, then you get Action, and then you get Heartbreak Julio. And I just found that was perfect balance. And then ending off the album with Lincoln Theater. Derek, the floor is yours. Go.
Just what a track, what a beat. Just such just big boy smack talk. Like, hey, listen, unless the rest of the bars on this album didn't let you know, let me give you more references, more puns, and let me make it even clearer that whatever title, whatever belt you think you have, I'm coming for it. like, and I texted Steven last week when I gave this a first listen, and there was just one bar on there. It's just like, there's only one direction for you to go, over the balcony. I thought that was cold. I thought the whole Liam Payne reference, I thought that was so cold as a reference. I was like, yo, he coming for it. He ain't fucking around. Like, he doesn't care who he offends. He's coming for it. And I remember telling my girlfriend this, and even my girlfriend was like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Like, this guy's not playing around. I'm like, not with this album. He ain't. Like, if he's trying to make a point, like, I think that's the track that just puts the stamp on this whole project and this whole album of like you better take me seriously now, because I'm about to change shit up. I'm about to come for the title here. And yeah, even from a production perspective, I think this is, for me, it's a standout track on this album for sure. And it's rare that I say that about the last song on an album, but it's making me really curious in terms of, if this is the last song on the album, he's for sure working on something else right now, because there's no way you finish an album with that track, such a standout track, and not follow up proper with the next project. Yeah. So it's making me really curious and really look forward to what's coming to next.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, this project, look, I'm gonna pull this up real quick, because you mentioned the same thing as I mentioned. Okay, he's literally put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 projects this year. 7. I'm a liar. He's put out 7 projects this year. Okay, and whether it's an EP or it's a full length album of 9, 10 songs, the dude always pushes himself forward, and always steps up his game. His this is one of his best records this year, along with Doom Was Right. And he elevates himself, man. He, like, artists that use so many references that are still able to come at you and have more references and make their music more interesting. There's something special about them. And you know what? Machacha did a fucking phenomenal job with the production on here. Like, I don't understand that guy's Machacha's brain. Okay. Like, I would love to sit down with Machacha and have a conversation for about 6 hours on really, like, dude, how do you create these beats? How either you have a stash of 1 billion beats and you make them with the artists in mind, or you just do it with them and be like, hey, look, I think I'm gonna go into this direction. What do you think? Or, like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know.
And to your point, it's one of those things where it just feels like this album, and I think that's the reason why Machacha is on this too. I think Machacha is also approaching this of like, hey, I don't know who you think has the belt for the best producer in hip hop, but I'm coming for it. And I think these two guys have been putting out a lot. Like, Machacha has done a lot of projects this year. Action Figure has done a lot of projects this year. I think there's something to be said. It's a sports analogy, but I think there's something to be said of what happens when you catch a groove. When you have momentum on your side, it feels like the whole world opens up and you can't miss. And I think this just goes to show, project after project, beat after beat, verse after verse, bar after bar, Action Figure is catching a groove in that regards, and Machacha is catching a groove from a production standpoint of, like, they're feeling good, they're feeling it right now, and they're absolutely unstoppable. And for me, it's very fitting that both of these guys are on a project together, because it feels like this year, if you don't have either of those guys on your list at the end of the year, you're missing the point. You're not listening to it properly, because these guys are putting effort, they're putting the work in, they're putting the quality, they're putting the time and the effort. And maybe we wouldn't have this discussion on 7 projects if half of them were bad and half of them were good. But they were all good. Some better than others, sure, but they were all good. And I think it just comes down to personal preference. And I think this album is a stamp, especially coming out at this time of year. We're about to start getting close to the holidays. Listen, if there's another project in the pipeline at this point, like, you got to give him the crown, because there's some guys that are maybe more established, some guys who put out less projects, but when you look at the body of work this year, it's hard to deny either of those two guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm gonna go here and say Craig Dyer as well for just the artistry around, you know, the cover art. It like it's not just cover art. Sorry that I'm saying cover art, but there's so much more value that goes into what he's painting and what
Right.
he's showcasing to us with all that imagery and what he's able to put together. Like if you look at all these projects, fuck that. I'll stay here and talk about it for 10 hours if I want. Like just look at all those album covers he did for Action Figure this year. Like the fucking cover speaks so much to you. Like and each and every single one of them brings something different, a different value to it, or a different sound that you're gonna get from Action Figure. I never get bored. Like, dude, the guy is the artist of the year in terms of art. Fuck, there's no question about it. If I could have a room, and well, I do have a room, but if there's could be a place in my room for Craig Dyer art of all the Action Figure fucking paintings and fucking art that he put together, fuck, it'd be probably one of the nicest things in my room. Literally. It just speaks volume to what all three of these guys are doing.
I just
But
want to add a little side note. Trap, did you also notice that Steven, aka Enzo Amore, didn't tackle song number 4, which is "You Can't Teach That," and
See
which is
that?
really
Right.
ironic because that's exactly what Enzo says whenever he was in the
You
ring.
can't teach that.
you
How
guys,
you, bro?
why does everybody call me Enzo Amore?
Because you are.
Because you
You are.
are.
If you were a wrestler and you were to take you yourself and you were to turn the dial all the way to 27 because you're already like at like 11 all the time. If you were to just turn the dial full send, you'd be Enzo Amore. There's no denying it. You just need to find a really really tall dude to be your cast, and we're all good. We're all good, dude. It's really funny that you skipped that track because I was like, no, he did it. There's no
He
way
did that on
Steven
purpose.
skipped his track.
He did that on purpose. Because I
Yeah,
was
of course he
wondering. I'm
did.
like, wait a second. I'm like, wait a minute. Did he skip something? You
I
sucker.
knew you guys were
Which
both
was a
gonna.
good track too, though.
It was
Yeah.
a really good track, but I knew you guys were gonna fucking bust my balls about me being Enzo Amore, so I did skip the track on purpose.
See?
Uh, Trap, thoughts on the album, please, and then your rating.
Overall, thought the album was fantastic. Again, action figure with his references, very bar heavy bars, very what you call it? Very reference heavy, which I love, which he always gives. And I thought with the production of Menchacha on it was just a great combination overall. I thought overall the album was very well put together and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you're a hip hop fan, I think you would too. And my score is going to be 8 out of 10.
Wonderful. Derek.
Honestly, man, Trap said it all. I think for guys that are our age, I think these references just hit a particular sweet spot. It hits the nostalgic factor. Lately, in the last few weeks, there's been a lot of good music to come out, and this project does not. It neither does it outshine nor does it get outshone in terms of the word that's been put out. So I'm just gonna firmly stand on an 8 for this. It's neither the best, neither the worst, but it just goes to showcase the level of the quality of music that's been coming out in the last few weeks. Um, yeah, Action Figures, he's not playing around. Machacha's not playing around. Yeah, 8 on 10 for me.
Um, I'm gonna go with an 8.5. When I first heard the record, the first 2-3 times, I was giving it an 8, but there's something about this record that every time I listen to it, it's like a pop. You know what I mean? That there's something that just kind of stands
Hmm.
out that's different from the other times that I hear it.
Yeah,
And
I
you
know
know
what you're
what?
saying.
And there is a lot of projects that do that for me. But
Right.
just to be on a run that he's on, you know what? He has the working man's title right now. He is the Intercontinental Champion. He's literally the Intercontinental
Mm.
Champion going for the World Heavyweight Champion or the WWE Champion. He wants to go. He wants to have two belts. He wants to be two belt action. But like he's the working man's title. He has the belt. He's on a run. He's doing great things with his music. The references, just the being picking the proper production and working with the proper producer makes him stand out. Because like if you just look at, you know, Here Comes the Money, he's able to ride that beat so eloquently. What's the word there? Help me, because
Eloquently.
right. I said it right. Like, like it stands out. That's that pop that we want. That's that different from Doom Was Here, or that's that different from Dark Side of the Ring. You know what I mean? Like he's still able to do that 7 projects in. So, and yeah, like I said, man, always elevating himself, always working well. He wants to get that heavyweight champion. Right now, he's the Intercontinental Champion of the year. And if there is another project coming out, Jesus Christ, make me be able to sleep at night. Stop exciting me this much. And shouts out to Machacha with the production as well. Always putting out amazing production. This man, his brain is, I don't understand. Literally, there's nothing else to say. I just don't understand you, Machacha. Can we sit down and talk for 6 hours? And again, Craig Dyer with the art, just fucking elevating the music itself, just with the art. Last album of the evening, the main event of the evening, Mr. André DeSaint, Don't Meet Your Heroes, completely produced by Rios. This is the first time that I hear Rios. He's probably produced on other songs from other artists I like, but I've never really paid attention to the production until now, because he's completely produced for André DeSaint. Yeah, Trap.
It was good from the opening. I was like, oh, okay. The first opening song, like the first opening title track, that beat, I was like, okay, I see where this album is gonna go. So it hooked me in from the very beginning.
Yeah, and it really did. And this is Andre's third project of the year. And like other artists, I'm like, if you're gonna put out another project, what are you going to give us? In which direction are you going to go? And André DeSaint, you could tell that he is heavily influenced by so many artists, and he's always pushing himself forward. Again, elevating himself, trying different things, experimenting with different beats, experimenting with different tunes, experimenting with different ways of like approaching the song, even with his vocals on here. He's doing things I've never heard him, do on songs. Let's start off with Saint's theme, being the perfect intro and him showcasing what he could do at his best. Tuning his voice. You could tell that he's tuning his voice differently on the track, something that we've never heard from him. Having that melodic voice, having that melodic side of him, asking us to still pray for him. Just really, since losing his grandma, because he goes towards the end of the album where he mentions her again, not being here.
And the storytelling was great on here too.
Absolutely. There's a beautiful way of how the music was put together on here. And the Saints team to me is just, wow, where are we gonna go from here? Don't Meet Your Heroes. Trying to fuck with me, you're gonna need Big Daddy Kane's Flow, Slick Rick's Eye Patch, and Cool J's Kango. To me, that was hard hitting. That was heavy. That was him making a statement of, yo, there's different sides of me. There's different flows from me. I could do anything. You can give me any type of beat, and I am going to be able to showcase what I could do best. Petty Privilege, smooth, soulful, jazzy, talking about a chick on here, a different side of him, a more R&B side from him, which I love. He does it perfectly. This is where you could tell that he is heavily influenced by so many different artists, and he's be able to take different things from different people to be able to really showcase himself differently. Gotta Know being one of my favorite songs on here. Absolutely. Way more soulful, way more Andre 3000 style. Right?
Listen, I'm not too familiar with Andre DeSaint, but having grown up in the 90s and the 2000s, I am more familiar with Andre 3000, and he reminds me so much of him, and for the same reason that we love Andre 3000, just the way he approaches the tracks, finding like a weird, not a weird way, but a lot of different ways where like guys would approach it this way. He comes at it completely from
He
left
finds a
field and
different
makes it
pocket
work.
of the beat. I know
Yeah,
what you're saying. Yeah, his pocket
yeah,
of the
yeah.
beat is different than most other rappers would find that pocket. Kind of like what
And
Andre
also he's
3000
being
does.
so crafty with what he's saying in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Andre 3000 is also one of those guys of he's crafty the way he approaches it, but he's also crafty in the message he delivers in his verses. And like he's a he's a lyricist's rapper. He's a rapper's rapper. He's an artist. He doesn't just carry the title of MC. He's an artist just in his approach to music and the way he approaches a track, and the way he also has it. Steven mentioned it in Petty Privilege of every guy, every MC, every rapper always has a song about a girl or a chick, and they approach it in a certain way. And even him, in the way he approaches it with like a calm, cool demeanor, but also a serious and like a not disrespectful kind of demeanor to it. He approaches it with like a mature demeanor, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And he feels very polished. He feels very mature in the way that he gives his music and he portrays himself as well. I get like a late night Florida, Miami vibe off of his music, but not in the gangster kind of way, in the more polished, professional kind of way. And I think Gotta Know is a standout track on this. I think it really showcases that very well.
It's a shiner on the album.
Yeah,
there's like an authentic, down to earth, R&B soulful side. And again, I'm gonna say this: always experimenting with his voice, with his vocals. Then there's Holding Walls Up. This is where the album becomes a lot more jazzy. There gets more of a jazzy feel with drums.
I like that.
So like the beginning, those first 4 songs are very soulful, very R&B-ish type, like almost kind of like that D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, and then really goes into the jazzy side with Holding Walls. I don't know who this John Wells guy is, but fuck was he cold as hell on this.
He was.
He fits so well. I remember back in the 2000s when I would listen to like the Jay Dillas of the world, the Slum Villages of the world, and there would be certain featurings on those albums. And I'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Or I'd listen to Little Brother and I'd be like, who the hell is that featuring on here?
Right.
And then we would never get an album from the person, but you would really like, it would really stick in your head like, wow, what if this person really put out a record? Like, how would that sound? And I found the 2000s used to always do that. There would be featurings and then we never hear from that person ever again. But this John Wells guys really fits super well on here. Really fits super well. Then we get into Woo Wear, which
I like that.
Is the hungry, more aggressive fucking André DeSaint that we've heard before. The song is like 1 minute and 20 seconds, and you could see.
I hate. I'm like, damn, I wanted more of that, but okay.
Yeah, but this is where you see him as more versatile. The production kind of like was like it was kind of like produced by like the RZA and Rios. Like there was a touch of the RZA on here. The drums, those dark, grimy type of drums. Then when we get into Biggie and Bape, this is the grimy André DeSaint.
Biggie and Bape was my standout for me.
Yeah, stating that if I haven't heard him or heard from him, you late. And you know what? I'm gonna stand on that as well. If you haven't heard of André DeSaint, then you're fucking late and you're lacking. Time to catch up, because this dude in 2025 is this dude in 2025. He's putting out really stellar project and really versatile, different style of music. Always with the fashion side on Biggie and Bape, talks about the Prada, talks about the Stone Island. and has such a remarkable slow flow on here.
Yeah, the
And
beat, it's got like a dramatic but yet like very powerful kind of beat. You could tell like it's a heavy beat and not in the not in the musical perspective of a heavy beat, just heavy in the aura around the beat, like the energy behind the beat and what you feel listening to that beat. You could tell it's made to be dramatic and powerful and resonate more than just like a heavy bass kind of beat. How a heavy bass kind of beat is powerful. This one's powerful in like a moving, soulful, kind of like emotionally connected way. For me personally, anyway. Like I remember when that beat came on, I was like, oh, this beat just makes me feel something. Like I could tell that, like, and to a certain extent, sometimes a rapper will rap on a track and not say much or say a lot, but the beat sort of deters from it in the sense of like, I can't take seriously what the rapper says because the beat is like kind of like disconnected from it. But in this situation here, the beat was so powerful and got me so like into it that it made me pay a lot more attention to the verses that he was spitting, you know?
yeah, absolutely.
I get what you're saying.
And I love that sample of Biggie, just with his slow flow, so remarkable. It really fits with André DeSaint and how he approaches his songs and how he approached this song. Habitual Line Steppers, another great track on here, featuring Money Mowgli. Shouts out to Money Mowgli. When Money Mowgli is on a featuring, fuck, does it stand out? His voice stands out. You know what? It's so different, right? On a project like this, but he stands out so much. He's able to really fit into that pocket of what André DeSaint is trying to do. And like these dudes from Miami, man. Like I love them. Him, Shoddy, they have that accent to them that really makes them interesting. And I think having an accent really, makes you interesting, makes you very different from other artists. Some artists that come from the same area or, sound the same, or not even that. It's like, sometimes you get a featuring and the person sounds too familiar or too of the same. Money Mowgli is really out of that box in terms of his approach and his accent and his flow on here, man. I feel like he's sitting on a couch when he's rapping on this song. Like he's so laid
he's
back.
Comfortable. He's so easy with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So easy with it. But the same way that like Atlanta rappers have that warmth to them, the same way that Baltimore rappers are all grimy and they come at it with like aggression and power and like they took something from us. Like they're coming for the chains. They're coming for everything. I think to your point, and I didn't know that they were from Florida. I had no idea. And like, I feel like I had never really listened, or maybe I just unknowingly had listened to hip hop from Florida, but it's piquing my curiosity a lot more. I'm listening to it and I'm like, okay, I haven't heard anything like this, and this sounds a lot different from what's going on in Baltimore, what's going on in New York, or what's going on in Atlanta. That like, it's piquing my interest a lot more in terms of like, this is what they could do. This is what's going on down there. Let me pay a lot more attention to what's going on down in Florida.
Yeah, Money Mowgli just put out a project too. I think you'd really dig it, and also Shoddy, like if you haven't heard Shoddy's project with fucking Machacha, Derek, you should run to that right. Like, look, I won't send you any albums for another week. You gotta go listen to Shoddy and Machacha. And actually, Money Mowgli and Shoddy have a record together, Miami Aliens. If I pronounced it correctly, you'd fucking love that project. If I can get my hands on a CD for that project, I'd be the happiest person in the world. That's besides the point. And then Ermine Jung. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly because I'm terrible with pronouncing names. The storytelling on this, just to, finish off the album Trap, you said it. He's amazing at storytelling on here. His storytelling really
was great on here.
Yeah, it really sticks out. Just talking about somebody that's from the streets, that was drug dealing, whether you grew up with the person or not. Somebody that making money, and then somebody turned their back on him. You know, and just like life's a bitch, like the mother from Blow. So was it his friends that snitched on him and got him caught, or was it his mom? Because the mom saw him, you know, doing all these things, even though the mom was, benefiting off his money and off all this from the cars and the jewelry and all that stuff, and eating fine at the restaurants. What was it? Life's a bitch, like the mother from Blow. Uh, Trap, thoughts on the album?
Overall, I thought the album was great. Again, Andre DeSaint delivers his great storytelling like he always does with the album. I thought the beats blended well with him and his storytelling. Whoever this producer is, like you said, shouts out to him. I thought he did
Rios.
it very well. Yeah, Rios. I thought Rios did very well for this project with him and Andre DeSaint, and I'm gonna score it an 8 out of 10 because for me personally, I thoroughly enjoyed the storytelling. And it's different from as the last project where it's very bar heavy and very reference heavy, which I like as well. But this gave me another side to rap where it's just very storytelling rap, and I just really thoroughly enjoyed that.
Wonderful. Derek?
Yeah, for me, this didn't quite hit that itch as much as the other project that we reviewed. It was a much more. This felt like a much more serious, meaningful project, and I guess it just didn't hit. But it's also one of those projects where I can't fault it because I only started listening to this on Friday. It hasn't sat with me long enough for me to understand, to truly get a full understanding of the project he's trying to put out and
Right.
the actual idea behind this project. So
Which is fair.
I can't fault it for that in any way, shape, or form because that's a me problem.
Hmm.
With that being said, just based on what I have heard and what I was able to catch, and the sounds, just the soundscape of this album was really good. Shout out to Rios. Um, I love the vibe of it. I love the darkness of it. Um, I'll give it a provisional 7 on 10. But with that being said, I will be revisiting this album this week, and I'll probably put an amendum on that score. I'll put it down in the comments. Once I'm done, I'll put it down in the comments as to what my actual note is.
Well, it's good because you know what? You start off with a score, you start off with a feeling, and then down the line, it could
Yeah, it
change.
changes.
There's
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
many albums that
saying.
changed for me. Like,
Me too. Me
and, and
too.
and it's fine. It's fine. Sometimes you need to sit with a project a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, Look, this project, we were talking about nostalgia. We're talking about, what albums do for you, and look, this album gave me Common, like Water for Chocolate type of vibes, Common B type of vibes, Slum Village type of vibes, that Jay Dilla, Jay Loves Japan type of vibes. It's heavily influenced to me by that time. If you want to talk about R&B and soul, like Water for Chocolate, or One Day This Will All Make Sense from Common, had a lot of that. This project has a lot of that. Like Andre DeSaint has so many different hats, you know, that he's able to, really pinpoint on that throughout his albums. He's allowed to go in different bags on his albums, and he really touches somewhere special on here with this one for me. Like, since this, like, I heard him talk about this project on the Abyss podcast, and I was literally sitting there and being like, "Fuck, I'm jealous. I haven't heard this project yet," because he's one of my favorite artists this year.
Hmm.
Like, I'm putting him in those categories because he's consistently great. And on here, he really touched a spot for me of that 2000s type of vibe, type of era of music that I
Hmm.
find we don't get enough of today because a lot of people are scared to go into that direction, that little brother direction, that Common direction, that, Slum Village, Jay Dilla type of direction. He's able to tap into that for me. So I really like, man, I really love this project. And like I really hope a lot of people feel the same way about me because there's a special piece in this project. And you know what? If it doesn't hit you now, it'll hit you in a different mood because it's very moody as well. Like I'm putting this on in the morning. If I'm hyped and I'm ready to go out, I'm not playing this album. It's possible. You can. You could probably play Woo Wear and Biggie and Bape for sure, but you can't play the rest of the project. There's a mood to this. I might light a candle on this. You know what I mean? I might put the sage on in the room, even though I don't know what sage really is. Like fuck, but he hits that spot. And if and Derek, maybe you're not too familiar with the artist that I had mentioned, but Trap, Common. He always was able to give us a feeling in music. You know what I mean? Like I remember listening to Common's Like Water for Chocolate and being like, wow, this is incredible. You know what I mean? And you know what? He taps into that. He gives me that vibe. And we don't get that shit in 2025 or 2024 or 2026. We don't. People are scared to go into that direction. There's only a few artists, and André DeSaint is one of those few artists. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5 for now. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Yeah, boys. André DeSaint and Rios. Both of these projects, André DeSaint and Rios. Don't Meet Your Heroes. Speaking of that, have you guys ever met any of your heroes?
No.
No, Derek?
I've met people and celebrities, but none of them that fit into the category of
hero.
Well, I say that now, and Steven knows this, but I'm very close to the military and first responders and that jazz. So I've met veterans of like World War II and stuff like that, and it's not heroes in the sense of like, but they're my heroes, and none of them has ever disappointed. But heroes in the sense of like guys that you used to look up to, like when you were like a kid, like celebrities, never for me. No.
You, Trap? No.
Yeah,
I've never met any of my heroes, and I don't want to meet any of my heroes.
I don't even know if they are heroes, but I don't know.
Especially Shawn Michaels being one of my heroes, and I don't want to meet Shawn Michaels.
Except when I met Shane McMahon, I'm like, oh, Shane McMahon! I'm fucking yelled his name out the fucking block because I'm so excited. Maybe he didn't disappoint me. Maybe I did meet my hero, but he didn't disappoint me because I'm like, I had to double take. I'm like Shane. I'm like Shane McMahon. I said his whole name. I'm like Shane McMahon. He's like, "What's up?" He just mad food, and he walked to where he was going. I'm pretty sure nobody knew who he was. Like,
I would have probably been like,
until I fucking screamed out his fucking name down the block.
It's fucking Shane McMahon.
No, you don't understand, dude. Like, he meant a lot to wrestling. So, like, for me seeing him, like, I did tense up a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, it's just Shane McMahon walking fucking downtown Brooklyn.
I mean, he's a legend, you know.
He really is a legend.
He's an absolute legend. It's not like
bro, he gave AJ Styles one of his best matches in WWE. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, he's just crazy.
André DeSaint and Rios, Don't Meet Your Heroes.
Don't Meet Your Heroes, baby.
On all streaming platforms now. Vinyls and CDs are gonna be coming out. And the most interesting man in the world, Action Figure and Machacha. And if you haven't heard the Mobb Deep Infinite, please go listen. I'd like to give a score. I'm not gonna give a score yet. It's probably around that 7 on 10, maybe that 7.5. I'm still feeling it. I'm still going back and forth. It's enjoyable, but again, I'm not sure how I feel. Boys, thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure having the boys back in town.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please press that like button and then fucking subscribe. Don't just like.
I forgot to tell y'all that in the beginning. I forgot to tell y'all. See, you can tell I've been away for a while because I forgot to tell you motherfuckers, you bastards. to like and subscribe in the beginning. See, I'm cursing now because you can't curse in the beginning of YouTube. So now I could curse because we already in. Now, like I said, you bastards better like and subscribe, or we just gonna have to come find you and see, like, hey, are you subscribed? No? What you waiting for?
And we'll go coast to coast, baby. We'll go coast to coast. We'll find you coast to coast. We don't care.
Exactly.
Put our bodies on the line for this.
Exactly, because Instagram has the locations now. So we just track you down by your Instagram, show up at your door, and be like, hey, you subscribed yet? Why aren't you? Hit the subscribe button, please, and don't make us have to find you.
And on that note, peace and love to
Peace
everyone.
and love.